Welcome to the Kinjaz PodKast. Here we will discuss dance, life, and whatever the we want.
Welcome back to the Kinjaz PodKast, Movement in the Shadows. We're your host, Ben.
I'm Charles.
And you got Mike Fowl.
And today in the house, we have a very, very, very special guest. Let me try to do this intro justice.
Do it well, Ben. Do it well.
Founder of After's Ice Cream and a myriad of other culinary concepts.
Myriad.
The founder of the streetwear company, I Am King.
Dope.
And this guy is just an entrepreneur, dream maker, passion chaser, just all around stand-up, really good guy. My good friend, Andy Nguyen, is in the house.
Hey,
welcome.
Welcome.
Ben, thank you for the kind words.
Dude, come on, man. Come on, dude. This is a long time coming. Well, dude, thanks for coming on to the show.
Of course.
This is where, the Kinjaz PodKast, we call Movement in the Shadows because this is really where, it's kind of like the behind the hustle type of story, but what people see through social media and all those types of even like shorter interviews, they don't really get the full scope and the full story on like how you're doing what you're doing and all the steps to get there. So this is really kind of that platform for you to just kind of open up that road. But let's start it off simple with the story. Where'd you grow up? That whole thing. Where are you from?
I'm born and raised in Orange County, Westminster, to be exact. Born in 1984. Grew up my entire life in that community. I still live in the Orange County area. I'm probably not going to ever move out.
Whoa.
Nice.
I love traveling, but I can't see myself leaving that area.
Word.
Yeah.
So you grew up out there. Did you go to like high school, college, all that too?
I wasn't always the most scholar. I was the best scholar in school. I was always like the troublemaker, mischievous one. I'm not like the bad kid. I'm just hanging out with bad people. you know how that works.
I feel
see
you.
you as a bad kid though. You don't give off the bad kid vibe to me. I mean, no offense.
No.
I mean, you just Andy, dude, you're a good guy.
I think mischievous is a good word.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like hanging out.
What
with
are like the mischievous things that you've done?
I got kicked out of school out of my freshman year.
Okay.
Oh, man.
What'd you do?
That year, I was failing all my classes. I got suspended, arrested.
Whoa, wait.
Fights.
You got arrested.
Yeah, shoplifting with my friends at the mall.
Oh shoot. Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
but
I
feel
that's a rite of passage, though.
It is.
Yeah.
I think so. I think
Shoplifting.
getting that out early out of the way, but it's tough though. I'm Asian, and I'm getting kicked out of school, and I'm going home trying to explain to my parents like what happened, and they're like, "You're born in America, and you're failing English, and you're Asian, and you're failing math. Like, how did you?"
It's like, wait, aren't you Asian?
And this is coming from Vietnamese parents?
Vietnamese parents.
Oh,
There you
man.
go.
I am so sorry that you had to go through that. Jeez.
So your parents they immigrated from Vietnam to
Well, yeah, they moved here after the war. They moved here in the 70s. They started in North Carolina, Minnesota, and ended up in the little Saigon area. That's where I was
Got you.
born.
What did your parents do? Like, just curious.
My mom was like, she worked for like those plastic surgery companies where she was like taking care of the patients, and they would like stay at our house, and I'd wake up and see a lady with like full on mask, like
Whoa.
walk out and I go, oh. My dad did a combination of different things. The good things he did, he worked for like a company who fixed hearing aids, and then his other side hustle to take care of the family, he was a sports bookie.
Whoa.
Dang, that's
wild.
That's Vietnamese for you, man.
Whatever it takes to take care of the family.
Yeah,
Whatever
I
it
get
takes.
it. So kind of within the healthcare-ish like realm, right?
Ish, yeah. Ish.
And then, so for yourself, you were like mischievous kid, getting kicked out of school. Like, at what point were you like deciding, like, okay, I need to shape up and figure life out?
I think during my sophomore year when I was going to continuation school,
Okay.
I was stuck at home every single day. You'd go to continuation. It's like it wasn't really a school. It's like an office. You go to the office to pick up your homework once a week, and then you're stuck at home the rest of the week because you're in trouble. You can't go anywhere.
Sure.
And I lived right across the street from the high school I used to go to, and I'd look out the window every single day at 2:38 and see everyone leaving, having a good time, while I'm stuck at home doing homework and not being able to go out and hang out with anyone. And I was like, dude, it's cool the first week, at home I get to watch, at home watching MTV and all the soap operas in the daytime for that first week, and then after that, I'm like, dude, I need to figure this out. I don't want my life to go like this. I don't want to be a failure because everyone's looking at me like, dude, you're about to ruin your life.
Right. So were all your friends like kind of in the same boat as you, or were they like off like doing other things like in the school?
My group of friends, my circle of friends, I don't know, they're a lot worse than me, but they all were still in this high school. They're still in the school. None of them got kicked out except me. I'm probably like I'm like the least trouble of all of them, and for some reason.
Happens to the best of us.
I guess so.
Okay. So what was so during that high school time, did you finish high school?
I did. So during that sophomore year, I was like, dude, I need to get back. I want to experience like being social, having friends. I didn't want to be that weird, awkward. Because I was super weird and awkward before that. I was picked on, fights, and all yada yada. And I took that sophomore year. I'm like, you know what? If I come back to school, I want to be a completely different person. I want to look back towards like people that I look up to and kind of shape myself with who I really am. Because before that I was like always like hiding who I really was and being shy and behind putting this wall up. And when I came back like my junior and senior year, I started participating in all the clubs. I started like getting involved in. I was joining everything, like dance club, key club, impact club, choir, basketball, anything I could get involved in, I'd get involved in.
Was it just to like try stuff, or were you legit into all? I
was into all of it. And, that really opened me up, and that made me more aware of like where I was gonna take my future, and I was more happy with myself at the time. And by my senior year, they named me. I was the school's best dressed. The senior year.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
And then they named me I was the school's social butterfly. I'm like, dude, that's weird. I'm like this awkward kid, and I'm the school's social butterfly.
Hell yeah.
Dang, dude. So were you, out of high school, was there like already a clear career path that you were on, or did you kind of find yourself doing like odd jobs?
Well, once you get kicked out of school, you don't get your fair choice of colleges that you want to go to.
Yes, that is true.
So I went to community college.
Okay.
OCC, Orange Coast College.
Yep.
I went there for about a year and a half. And during that time period, I was taking all my general ed courses. I took career planning classes, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I couldn't figure it out. I felt stuck. I felt trapped. And then you could see my grades start sinking again. I'm like, oh no, I can't. I cannot fall back into that same hole as I did when I was a freshman. So one day, one of my best friends, his name's Polo, he dropped out of school 6 months into it, and he decided to go into real estate. And on the trip back, I think we went to go party in Cal State, Santa Barbara or whatever out there.
Okay.
And on the drive back, he's like, hey, you should consider doing real estate with me. I'm like, what the hell is real estate? I have no idea what you're talking about. He goes, well, I'm doing real estate appraisal. I'm making a lot of money working for this guy. And he's really young. I was like, oh, shit, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
He's like, we can start our own company. And that's what triggered it. I was like, you can start your own company. We're only 18 years old. Like, how's that even possible?
Right.
Like, that's not normal, especially at that era. I was like, there's no way you can start your own company. He's like, yeah, this guy's doing it. We can start our own. This is what you need to do to get your license and start your own company. I was like, well, okay, let's try it out. So I told my parents I was gonna stay in school, and do the real estate thing at the same time. So I ended up dropping out and focusing on getting my real estate appraisal license. There was like 7 of us of our group of friends that tried to do it, and I'm the only one that happened to pass and get my license.
Yeah.
So everyone's like using my license to get their hours in. But we did that for about 2 years. We launched our first company called Home Source Appraisal.
Okay.
We learned how to quickly make a lot of money at that age.
Okay.
But doing it.
What were you guys doing? So like just looking at homes.
We're working like in the real estate appraisal. You're like kind of finding the value for people, the home, so that people can get their loan approved to get their houses. So they'd send us out there, and God knows what they're thinking, because definitely should not be doing that job. We were driving everywhere, from anywhere in Southern California at the time, from all the way up to like Central California, all the way down to San Diego. We were driving like everywhere. Definitely, my driving skills definitely sharpened up through that whole process. But we're doing like each time we're doing one of the houses, we're getting paid from anywhere as low as $350 to $3,000 a file, and we're doing sometimes 10 to 12 files a day. So if you add that number up, you're making a lot of money at that age. So we're racking it up, and I was like, okay, this is a lot of money.
Yeah.
But in that time period, I was like, dude, this sucks. I feel like a robot.
Yeah.
I don't like what I'm doing. I don't really know. I don't really understand what I'm doing. I'm just doing what's being told. But I'm like, hey, I'm making money. This is what you're supposed to do. But the job process, I was like, this sucks.
Was that an actual skill, though, you felt like you were exercising? Like being able to like get the cost of these homes and appraise homes? Is that like a skill that you learned, or is that just like...
You learned it through the process. Like we learned through the people that mentored us. But the skills that we gained from it was direction, like getting directions, because we didn't have Google Maps at the time. We had to print everything through MapQuest and print out the directions. And then sometimes, when you were going to places, we'd end up like in like super sketchy areas. Like I'd end up in the hood, and then I turn to a neighborhood, and you got cars like blocking me in. Like, what are you doing here? I'm like, oh God, I just need to get a picture of the house. And you're supposed to take like pictures of like, it's not random houses, but they call comparables.
Yeah.
So you get the 3 pictures of the houses nearby that it's not the actual house that you're supposed to go. So when you're taking there's people like in front of their house and you're taking a picture of it, they start chasing you down. And
I'm sure people don't like you taking pictures of the house.
Yeah, they don't like taking a picture of my house.
Right.
So, that was my real estate phase. And
how long was that?
I think about 2.5 years of
Okay.
my life. And in that same time period, I had one of my friends who his name was Michael, and he was starting up his first clothing brand.
Sure.
And he reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, can you be a model for our lookbook shoot?" I was like,
"Let's go,
dude. I'm not a model. I am not gonna model any clothes." He's like, "I'll give you free clothes." I was like, "Okay, I'm in."
Whatever you want. I'll pose it up for you.
So I was like, "Hey," I did the photo shoot for him, and then he kept like asking me to hang out and help him out with things, and we ended up sharing an office. Like he's like, "Okay, I don't have enough money, and you guys make some money, so when we get an office, you can do your real estate on this side, and I'll do my clothing thing on this side." And when we're in that office every day, I'd like to sit there and watch what he was doing. I was like, this is way cooler than what I'm doing right now. What I'm doing sucks. So this is so boring. And even though he wasn't making any money, I was like, I'd rather be doing that.
Yeah.
Then he had a fallout with one of his partners, and he was getting ready to launch his second brand. It was called Arisu. And I was like, hey, can I invest my money and do this brand with you? And he told me no. I was like, why? I was like, I can do this. Like,
yeah.
He said, I don't think you're ready. I was like, okay. You don't think I'm ready? Forget you. I'm gonna go figure something out.
Wow.
I stood around. I did stick around. I stuck around for a little while. But I went back to my best friend Polo, and I told him, I was like, hey, I got this great idea. Why don't we start our own clothing brand? We can do a lot better than these guys. Yeah.
Did you always have that sort of, I guess that's like the beginnings of a businessman, right? Like get your money, stack your chips, and then look for a business to invest into or start up for yourself. Like, did you kind of always have that mentality?
I don't think I had my mentality as like a business. I never saw myself as a business person, because when you talk about business people, you're always talking about like the end result, the exit results of how to make a lot of money or make tons of money. Like my thought process was never about like making tons of money. When my best friend first approached me about real estate, the money part didn't interest me. Making a lot of money didn't interest me. The part was like, you got to start your own company. You got to do something for yourself. Mm-hmm. In the clothing side, I was like, okay, well, I got to be creative. This is like my outlet. I like clothing, and this is a way to like, and I dress a little weird, so let's see if I can like, find a way to express that in my own way. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go start my own clothing brand.
And was that the beginnings of I Am King, or is there something else?
Yes, that was the I'm King brand. I'm King is short for Imaginary Kingdom. The word Imaginary Kingdom to when we came up with the name was like I refer to the kingdom as your brain. That's the most valuable thing you own. And your imagination, that's where your ideas come from. So you get the word Imaginary Kingdom, and when you break it down, when you cut the words down, you get the word I'm King, being a leader and changing, and that's what we kind of push things towards.
And what year was this around when I Am King started?
We launched the brand in first shipment date out was summer of 2007.
Got it. Okay. I remember because I feel like I first met you right around 2008, 9-ish. This is when like ABBC season 1 had just kind of popped off, and I remember seeing I Am King around a lot during that time, and I think you even had laced some dancers on the show with it, so I was getting familiar with it. But then I saw the growth of even just like what you guys are putting out, from not just like screen tees, but to like the cut and sews and all that. So where did you develop, or how did you, I guess, develop the brand? How did you approach it as a clothing brand from the beginning, and then how did it develop into what it became?
So when we first started, we're always trying to split things in two parts. Like the cut and sew side was supposed to be like obviously the longer names, so it was supposed to be more like all the cut and sew pieces were supposed to be around the Magic Kingdom name, and all the t-shirt graphics were supposed to be around the I'm King. They end up like, people kept gravitating towards the word I'm King. So we're like, hey, let's just run with that name. But we already tell the story. We'll tell the story about the Magic Kingdom. How we designed a lot of pieces. Our graphics at the time were, there's so many brands out there already. They had the Hundreds and Diamond, Black Scale. Everyone's, and Crooks and Castles. They're all picking up steam at that time. And we're like, dude, we need to find a way to like stand out amongst, in our crowd and find out what's our vibe and our lifestyle. So, a lot of our graphics were really loud at the time. We're like, we're not going to do just logo shirts. We're going to do like really thought out conceptual designs. Like all of our, you see a lot of our early designs are always like really thought out. Like, okay, if we explain it to you, you're like, oh, I get it. And like as for the cut and sew pieces, like we wanted to look as fresh as possible. So we're going to like South Coast, and we're going to all the high end stores. We'd buy all those dope pieces that we wanted. Yeah. And then we would flip it. Yeah. We took this dope ass jacket from Gucci, and we're like, we want like this jacket, but make it like this, this, and this. And whenever we bring it to the show, we brought it our own way, and we wanted it like price point friendly. Yeah. And that's why we kind of saw how we did our cut and sew. And when we came to the trade show, everyone's like, dude, you have all these technical pieces, and all we were like, oh. We just picked up really expensive stuff. And
so you went to buy like Gucci stuff and put it on the company card, be like, yo, this is R&D right here, so I'll write this off. Yeah, we took, and I'm gonna make my own version of it.
Because normally China, like they'll put, like if you send it like when you're doing like manufacturing overseas, they'll usually punch a hole in it and put like sample in it. Yeah, we're like, hey, make sure you send it back.
It's expensive.
We need to go return this jacket out to her.
Good, man. That's tough. Dang. Okay, so like, how long did that go for? How long did I Am King run for?
Yeah, I'm King for about 7 years, and when we started the brand, we came in at such an interesting time because we came in at the recession. Yeah. I remember going to trade shows in New York, and I'd see signs that said 90% off, and I'm like, dude, that's wild. We're idiots. We're going into we're doing clothing industry, and things are 90% off. How you're supposed to survive through this? And we figured out at the time like what to do, and it was tough. It was definitely a tough road.
Who was like on your team at that time? Like, was it just you and Polo, or?
Me and Polo are the founders and the owners of it. But we recruited a lot of people, a lot of like really, really talented people. My sales reps were my friends Chris and Lee, who own a huge branding agency now, and they own about 8 clothing brands under their belt that they used to work under me, and they're doing sales of like 60, 70 plus million a year now.
Oh my God.
We have our designer, Marilyn. She's like a huge social media girl now, and she's like Skrillex's like right hand person who's rolling with them and doing all their merch now. Yeah. Brian Temple, who's like our visual guy, who came in and really directed the look of our brand. He's like,
I know Brian.
You know Brian?
Yeah, I used to dance the adhesion against him.
Oh wow! Yeah. Brian. So Brian is like a visual genius, and we brought him. We brought him in and seen how he's grown. Now he's shooting for like huge companies. Wow! And his visuals are beyond when he first started. Yeah. So a lot of people from our team have like really grown and made a mark in the industry.
Now, were these like your team? Was these like all the homies from high school that you just like brought on, or did you like put out like a casting, like calling all cars type of?
It was
post,
like
or what?
it's like we were catching like good vibes on like who we were working with. Like Chris, like the only person that came from another company was like Chris, and he came from a smaller brand. But when we brought him on, he he really took our sales to another level, and he really understood the industry and where to take things. But everyone else was like, okay, well, I used to play basketball with him. I think he'd be a great marketing guy. He likes to talk to people. And this other guy, Lee, he works hard and he wants to do sales. So we'll let him intern and see what happens.
Yeah.
And so everyone was like, it's like weird. It's most all vibes that we caught off of. Not really like posting any. We never really posted jobs out there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So then, with the clothing scene, though, so you probably saw streetwear, like the trends, like just develop from like that time. Because I feel like streetwear really got hot right around that time. Even though it was kind of during the recession, but that's where like brands like Crooks were blowing up, and like Stussy was doing the thing, Diamond was blowing up, and all that. And I felt like I Am King was like kind of right in that realm of it. What was, I guess, your reasoning for thinking that you wanted to transition out of that?
I think going on to our 7th year, like the industry was already shifting. And for me, when I was traveling, I was already developing like different hobbies and interests. And when you do the same thing for 7 years, you're like, dude, I don't want to keep doing the same thing forever. Mm-hmm. At first, I thought I was going to do like fashion clothing forever. I never thought I was going to go into another industry. Mm-hmm. So after that time period, I was traveling and I kept getting inspired, and I kept seeing like really cool, unique ice cream stores, and I was like, dude, Orange County doesn't have jack shit.
That is very true.
We have Baskin Robbins, we have Cold Stone, we have Thrifty. Cool, those are awesome. Those are great places, but they're boring, and they close at 9 o'clock, and we're like, I want to do. I can. The things that I traveled and saw, like I can do what they're doing, but I can do it in my own way, and I think I can do a lot better. Mm-hmm.
And you do it with style, man.
Thank you.
Those Actors stores are like just clean.
Thank you.
Yeah, super clean.
Yeah, so I had this idea in my head for 2 years. I was actually giving away the idea to my friends. I didn't have time to do it because I was super busy with Amking at the time. I was like, hey, you should do this this ice cream concept. You kill it. And they're like, haha, whatever. And I was like,
yeah, Andy.
And then we actually, before I even did the Afters idea, we're actually trying to find a new spot for the On King store. We're in Santa Ana. We're gonna do like a speakeasy clothing store. Like the ice cream store is gonna be in the front, and then you find a hidden freezer door and it takes you to the back, and the On King store's in the back. So that was our game plan, what we wanted to do. But ended up, whatever happened, we ended up not doing it. And then I had this idea in my head for a long time, and everyone kept turning me down. And me and my childhood friend Scott were talking one day at a dessert place, and we were both talking about like our dessert ideas. We both wanted to open a dessert place, and our ideas were like pretty similar, and they fed well off each other. We're like, oh wow, like this is interesting. So we kept talking about it more and more, and then we kept going to the gym, and we're like, hey, do you want to do this project? I was like, yeah, I'm down if you're down to do it. So we go out. He goes, I'm gonna go hunt for an ice cream shop. Mm-hmm. I was like, are you serious? You're gonna do it for real? Like, yes, I'm gonna look for ones that aren't doing well, and then we're gonna offer to buy them out. I was like, oh crap.
Yeah.
Okay. So we found this location right across the street from the gym that we worked out every single day in Fountain Valley, and then that store that was there, I've never been there. And I've grown up in this area my entire life. I was like, "There's an ice cream store there." It was called Lola's Ice Cream and Deli. The sign said Lola's Ice Cream and Deli, and the guy was open maybe once every other week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then, he was not open all the time.
No, because he opened when he felt like it. Because he already had money.
Well, it's Lola's, man.
He did it because he wanted to have a place for him and his grandchildren to go scoop ice cream with the ticket to the park and scoop and sell.
That's so tight.
So he was like, well, it's not doing well, but whatever, I don't really care. And they were like, okay, look, if you don't want it, can we buy you out? And Scott kept trying to negotiate with him on what to do. And I was like, I don't think this guy's gonna buy into it. Because he's like he's like 60, at the time he's like 64 years old, and he's like an old white guy.
Yeah.
And we got these two Asian goons walking in there, and hey, we're gonna take over your store. We kept selling him on this this dream that we envisioned, and he was like, I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'm gonna give it a shot.
Wow.
So we came in there, and I ended up bringing my two partners. My partners with me too. And then we ended up we negotiated a deal, and we locked it in. We said we're gonna flip your store. Like we're gonna completely change this whole thing. And then when it opens, you're gonna have like lines out the door every single day. And he was kind of laughing it off. He's like, "No, you guys are idiots. Like, what are you talking about? Lines. Like, no one comes to this area."
That'll be the day.
That'll be the day. And then, we came up with the idea. Scott had the name after us because he was researching it for like years already. I had the flavor, all the flavor profiles. I had all like the ice cream flavor I've been drawing out for a long time. I was like, these are the flavors we're going to test out. So I was making him. I was making the owner John, the white guy John. I was making him make the experiment on the flavors, and he'd make these flavors. He'd be like, no one's gonna buy this. Like, dude, I'm like, trust me. Like,
wait, so how did you know that this guy was like the ice cream guy? I mean, he had a shop that he opened up once a week.
Yeah,
like what made you guys feel like this?
We tried his product, and I was like, well, shit, I don't know how to make ice cream. Scott, you know how to make ice cream? Nope. Yeah. John knows how to make pretty. He's done it for 5 years, and for him, when he talks about it, it was like a science when he talked about it. So we knew he really cared about it.
Sure.
And we started testing out flavors. He would execute it really well. Like I was like, hey, I want milk and cereal flavor. I want cookie butter. I want Vietnamese coffee. And I want like horchata flavor. He's like, I've never eaten these items before.
How much are you?
Yeah. So I said, I told him like jasmine milk tea. He's like, what is milk tea? I was like, oh crap, we're in trouble. But when he'd make it, and I'd send him recipes, and he'd tweak it and make it work. And I'm like, he did. It came out really well.
Yeah.
Dude, that's insane. Just imagining just showing up with boba in your hand and you hand it to him. I want this and ice cream.
That's exactly what I want. That's
he takes a sip and he's like, I got it.
And then I'm like, I want it purple. Like, why purple? I was like, it's going to stand out. No one wants to look at it.
Because jasmine is purple. It makes sense. Trust me.
Exactly.
What was the thing that like got him to trust you guys? Like after, you guys offered once and he's like, nah.
I think he was always reluctant along the entire way. When we came in there, we were throwing out all his chairs and furniture. We're like painting the store black, and he was like, dude, like, who's gonna come into a black ice cream store? We're putting quotes on the walls, like the quotes were like, I remember the one was the wall on the back said, Gucci Ming loves ice cream, and he's like, what's a Gucci Ming? we're like, it's this rapper, and he has an ice cream tattoo in his face, and he's in jail right now, so we should be okay. If he gets out of jail, we'll take it down.
He just shows up at the store,
right?
Is that my name?
I do love ice cream.
Yeah, and then when we started conceptualizing, it was beyond the ice cream. We knew ice cream itself was not going to take us to the next level. Like, it was going to help put us on the map. And this is 7 months before this. The Corona just came out, and then when the Corona came out, that was the first time I think news ever took. They took food in a different way. They saw food mashups like that. Like, all the news outlets.
The Corona, was that like the croissant donut?
Yeah, the croissant donut.
Okay.
And when that first dropped, that was a New York thing, and it got like worldwide news, and no one's ever seen that before. And the next thing after that was a few months later was the ramen burger, and that was like another New York item. And we just hit around a weird time. We were working on like my idea was supposed to be like waffles, and we were supposed to do like waffle sandwiches, different waffle flavors, and then we kept doing it, and we just totally bombed it. We're like, dude, we can't get it right. And then we tried different items. We tried like the sweet bread, and sweet bread was getting closer. And then Scott was like, I'm going to think of something else. And then he drives to like a donut store. He drives past a donut store one day, and he brings it back. And I'm like, yo, we're about to go eat lunch right now. He's like, no, we're gonna try the donut instead of the sweet bread. We're going to take the jelly out and let's try it out. And we took a bite, and I was like, okay, that's it. That's the item.
Wow.
Is that all in one day, or was this like a long?
That was like over like a 6 month period.
Just imagine.
Everyone's like,
I just imagine that in like one day.
Everyone's story, like they always hope they go, were you guys high? I was like, I don't even smoke. It would sound a lot cooler if we did. It was like we had to figure out how to name it, and we didn't want to just call it like donut ice cream. We had to create a name for it.
Very clever.
So we're like, okay, let's call it. Like we had like icy bun, ice cream bun, creamy bun, milky, and then like milky bun. Took a vote, and that was the name that we decided to go with.
Okay.
And then upon opening, we did a test run of just ice cream, and we opened the day after Valentine's Day, February 15th, 2014. We opened around then because we were like, okay, well, it's cold. It's not going to be too busy. It's going to give us time to like learn the business.
Yeah.
And we approach the marketing a lot differently, like visuals, like okay, this is how we would, just like in clothing, like we want things to look good, so we're always like trying to shoot food a certain way. The way we talked about the food and adding the lifestyle element to it, it just knocks it right out the park. Like the timing and everything that we hit was just like perfect. And next thing you know, lines down the block. Every news station trying to contact us every single day, like months, and we're like shooting content. Like we're on this channel, we're on that channel, we're on this blog, and that first location every single day for about a year and a half, lying down the block right when we opened.
Crazy.
Damn.
Always in Fountain Valley location.
Yeah. And no one knows what the hell Fountain Valley was. When I went to Rousing on Fountain Valley, they were like, up the valley and up the 101. I'm like, no. Orange County.
Did that Lola guy see what was happening?
Well, when we told him about when we told him we were gonna have lines out the door, we didn't know it was like those. We thought like lines in the store, like like 10, 20 people at a time. We made like a few $100 a day. We'd be happy. Every day lines on the blocks, and we're just like scratching our head, like, how do we keep up with this?
Sure.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm sure when he came, was his mind just, like, blown, like, whoa, what are you guys doing over here?
Like, what just happened? Like, all of us were like, what just happened?
Yeah.
You should have told him Gucci Mane likes ice.
Like, for the first week that we opened, so we have this flavor called the Cookie Monster, which is like
I love
Cookie
that
Monster.
flavor.
So that first, he had that flavor from Lola's already. So but it was a regular vanilla color, right? And I was like, that has to be blue. He's like, that first week, he's like, I'm not making it blue. No one's going to eat it. I was like, make it blue. Trust me, it's called Cookie Monster. We need to make it blue. So once he changes to blue, our sales jumped up. Like, that sold like 25 to like 1 on the ice cream flavor. And he's like, I'm just not going to question you anymore. just do whatever you want.
That's like Cookie Monster. It's like one of those things that's like Instagrammable, but also like holds its weight in terms of flavor.
In flavoring, yeah. Because it's chocolate chip cookies, or it's like a cookies and cream on crack.
Yeah, that's what's up. So when you guys or before you opened, were you guys pumping like tons into like marketing efforts? Like, how did you get the lines to like, or how did you get the store to pack out like that?
I think a lot of there was a lot of things that hit at the right time. One was we hit the right media outlets first, and I remember my friends were from Food Beast, and he used to be in clothing, so I was like, hey, can you do a post for us? And once they did a post, OC Weekly saw it, Huffington Post wanted to shoot about it, and then Yahoo sees it. And Yahoo's like, oh, we want to write about it now. And then from Yahoo, KTLA News, and then Cooking Channel, blah, blah, blah. And then also, like, myself being in the clothing industry, everyone's like, well, the clothing guy's opening ice cream stores. What the hell's going on? So everyone's so curious. And all these things are all tying together, and the way that the social media looks, and the way we're building a lifestyle, and this is, like, completely new to the industry. Now it's like a norm. Like, everyone's doing what we were doing back then. But at that time, no one was doing that and attacking like the millennials. Like Cronut, he was like a high-end chef. Ramen Burger, he's like a street guy. He was like a guy selling at the park. But we were like targeting we're like the millennial crowd. We're adding that lifestyle. When you come in the stores at the time, I think the fashion trend was like all black and white, like the Chanel minimalism look. So that's that's how we kind of got a lot of the ideas from. And then we added the lifestyle element of being cool and hip hop and urban culture and EDM pumping through speakers, and used, like when you wear the shirts, it like has like cool quotes on it. And when you walk in the store, you kind of felt that. And that's what we kind of, and we're open to midnight. Other ice cream stores open to midnight at the time.
Yeah. I remember when I drove up, it was a night where the lines were out the door, and it was like pretty late. It was like 10-something o'clock at night. And then when I came in, and of course I had heard about it, you hit me up about it, and then I saw it through Instagram and all this stuff. So I was like, yo, this is going to be crazy. But I remember, the feeling when I walked in, and just experiencing everything from the crowds to what the crowds were made up of. Like the age group, a bunch of Asians, right? And then hearing the music, seeing like the decor and everything, and I was like, wow, this is like the first step towards urban fusion into the food game. I mean, people were doing it with other concepts, but I felt like for it to be done with the dessert realm. I knew that this is another game changer. You know what I mean? This is what our demographic, or the millennials, this is what we gravitate towards and what resonates with us. And so I knew that was like, all right, this guy hit it again, dude. You know what I mean? So man, that was really cool to see that. So from there, that was like year one of just the Fountain Valley location?
Year one, yeah, for about 11 months we had that first location, yeah. Before we opened our second store.
And then like how long did it take before you started opening up other locations?
So we found the second store in Chino Hills, which I've never been to Chino Hills before we opened in Chino Hills. I remember like looking at the location. It was like a former bakery, and we're like, it's not going to cost us too much to launch it. And so everyone was like, let's just try it out. And I know we were like visiting, like we drop in to see how the traffic was there. Sometimes I text the partners. I'd be like, guys, it's so dead here. We're screwed. Like we're gonna die. Like our hometown, like we know we could. We're in Fountain Valley. We have to kill it. We live in Orange County. But Chino Hills, I was like, we don't know this area. We don't know how it's gonna do. And we're like, let's just try it out. So we stepped up our design game for that location, and then we launched in 2015 of January. I think January 3rd. I remember clearly for some weird reason. And it was even busier than the first location.
Wow.
Crazy. I was like, what the?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Dang, that is like literally like going viral right in the food game.
Yeah. So once we knew the second location like really struck, like we knew we were onto like real. Because everyone, the first location, everyone's like 3 months in, they're like, it's gonna die down after 3 months. Or like, well, I don't know. I didn't even know it was going to be this busy in the first place. Like, people were just like, oh, it's just hype, whatever. It is what it is. Once the second location hit, we knew, we're like, okay, we're onto something that people haven't tapped into yet.
Yeah.
So we need to expand like really heavy from here.
Sure. I mean, like, as much as like even from the way that you're talking about it, you're making it sound like you just got really lucky and you just kept on getting really lucky. It's exciting to believe that.
But the premeditated idea of having like an ice cream store, like I don't think a lot of people would think just to like make an ice cream store. You have to be really like, not passionate, but you gotta want to do it.
That's what I'm saying. I don't feel like you're gonna just keep getting lucky and keep like hitting like it out the park. I think there's some level of a methodical way that you probably figured out, like, okay, if this hit in this way this first time, how do we keep repeating that, right? So what was your process in terms of like actually being like a nerd about it and like really just like going into like knowing the dessert business and knowing how to kind of recreate this and create that energy to keep going?
I think after the first 2 stores, like we knew like we had to buckle down. That's when we like our meetings got more like serious, and when we sat down and talked like the direction of the brand, like how do we grow from here? How do we emulate success of what like a Cold Stone has done or a Pink Berry Yogurt, and how do we do what they've done, but in our way of things, our more approachable way to this generation. And honestly, it's been. There's like so many different things that we've tried along the way, and we kind of studied the market of like what we've done in the past, like with clothing, and because that's what we're in the business of generating hype, getting people excited. Like we knew how to do that. We're like we can do this. We for sure can do this with ice cream. It's easier with ice cream than doing clothes. Clothes you're only selling to guys. Ice cream you're selling to everybody.
Right.
So we're the way the store looks, the way the processes go, like we really like tighten things up. Like we're still changing things to this day, like systems and logistics, and it's tricky and it gets harder every time.
Yeah, I mean, like you said about building or being in the business of hype, it's just creating a culture, and it's I guess developing your following and then knowing what that following wants, right? And then I mean, like you said, yeah, like selling a T-shirt, what I don't know, what $18 with like an ice cream cone is like what $3, so I'm sure the margins are a lot better, and everybody wants ice cream, right? And I think so with that though, so did you really take the streetwear, like that whole model of like creating like a cool culture, like how much of that was in your thought process like directly with this, or was that just kind of like the marketing tools that you learned through that you applied, or was it some sort of direct correlation that you put to it?
I think it's a part of like our entire lifestyle of how we think and who we hang out with, and how we grew up anyways. Like that was all part of how that all shaped up and came together, because a lot of it was, like Scott was doing footwear at the time, I did clothing at the time, and we learned those techniques from there, but we knew nothing about the food business, and we're just trying to apply the stuff that we knew through different work experiences and put it into what Afters became.
And did you guys like operate the locations yourselves, or did you guys hire people to operate them?
The first one we operated ourselves because we wanted to learn the entire system.
Yeah.
Like from the ice cream, I remember like I was learning how to make ice cream. Like, I don't remember much of it now, but I remember sitting there like training and pulling it out. Like I was like, I need to know how to make this. I need to know how to work the cash register. I need to know how to do scheduling. I was like, I wasn't doing scheduling before. I didn't do scheduling on King. Like it wasn't my thing. Because everyone's like, here, everyone comes in 9 to 5. You get out by 5 o'clock. Or if you're shipping, then you got to stay after. But for the ice cream business, we had to have a schedule. We had to learn how to keep. We're pumping out so much ice cream that if we have the thing open too much, it starts melting. So we had to plan things around like how long to keep the ice cream out before we put. If it's too cold when it comes out of the deep freeze, like you're breaking your wrist trying to scoop. Like you gotta get a scoop out.
Yeah.
So we're learning different things along the way. Like okay, now we're like okay, if you take it out, you need to leave it out for like 30 minutes. So you need to plan ahead. Once you get to like this part of the ice cream bowl, then you put the next one in. Even how to pass out the bun, when to press it, like all that stuff. Like
wow, I'm sure that learning process must have just been like hours upon hours upon days.
We're in it, so we're changing it like on the spot. You know, like, we're like, okay, we're gonna break this window. We're gonna change this to this. Even though the store was so small, we're like, we keep changing things too.
Yeah. So like you guys literally learned how to operate from top to bottom from that first location.
Correct.
And then from there, you hired operators to handle location 2, 3.
Yeah, we hired people that were that have worked in the restaurant industry that know more than us to help us like line things up to how to do how to run multiple stores at one period. Like those are things that are like past my pay grade. Like I don't know what to do. I need to get someone else that's an expert at this. So like, okay, let's not do what I'm good at. Just focus on what I'm good at and just have someone else do that.
So Chino Hills opened up when?
January 3rd, 2015.
Okay. And then when did you guys when was like the mass afters spread?
Empire.
The second year we opened about 3 to 4 more stores. Tustin, Long Beach. I forgot where else. Third year we opened another 7, 8 stores. We're at store right now. We're in 4.5 years, like a little over 4.5 years now, and we're at store number 24.
Holy crap!
24
in 4 years.
4.5 years. Yeah.
What was the year that you just opened up the most stores?
Last year we went nuts. We're just we're just gonna go crazy and open as much as we can. We signed so many leases.
And are you guys franchising it, or is this
all self-owned by us? So we have no franchises. It's all corporate owned by our group, and we wanted that way. We wanted more control to see what happens, and we don't know what we're gonna do next. So we're trying to figure that out.
That's crazy. Are you having fun with this?
I'm having fun with it. It's a different fun than it used to be now. Mm-hmm. I'm always looking to create I'm always looking forward to do what's next.
Yeah.
And how to tackle the next industries.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, outside of afters, because you were doing afters, or you've been doing afters this whole time, but you have a bunch of other food concepts that you opened up, right? Mm-hmm. You have Pig Pen Delicacy. You have
Red Envelope, Dough and Arrow, which is our cookie concept. Groundhouse, which is a Newburgh concept that we launched last week. Portside, our seafood concept.
We're just hitting everything.
This is crazy.
We're just going to,
So it's just a whole gamut of food, everywhere.
Yeah, I'm just trying to ruin people's diets.
Make them happy, ruin their diets.
Are those all in the OC?
Yeah, we usually incubate a lot of the concepts back in our home area to make sure, because it's close, it's easy for us to check on. And if it does well there, then we start expanding in different areas. And a lot of the brands are getting into their second, third, and fourth location now on each project. Red Envelope just launched their second location in Orange County. Our third and fourth location will be in Chino Hills and Riverside next. We know, we're like Chino Hills again, but now Chino Hills, what can I do now?
Chino's in now. Chino's all right, we love you guys.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, so when we first started kicking it, we've been talking for years about collaborating on something, right? Yeah. And this goes back to, I feel even 2000, 9, 10, where we're just talking about, we gotta do something. And then, was it 2015, 2016 that we did the collab with you guys?
2016, I think.
16.
I think so, or 2017. Last year.
It was last year.
Wow.
Last year.
It was
2017. Yeah,
2017. You guys brought out opened up your Alhambra shop, right? Yeah. And then we set up shop here at Dojo in end of 2015. And yeah, that I think the cool thing about you, Andy, that if I were to have brought up a collaboration idea to any other food concept, like, yeah, we're a dance crew. You guys want to collaborate? They're like, get out of here. Like, we have no interest in collaborating with like a dance crew, right? But I feel like something that is very unique and that I admire about you and I love is your ability to see things outside the box and think very unconventionally. And so when I approached you about like, yo, you guys are coming down the street from us, like, why don't we do a little collab? And like, you were like, yeah, let's do it. Like, there was like not even hesitation. And in your mind, I'm sure you're probably like, I don't know what it's going to look like or what the product's going to be. But like, it was fun. I remember just sitting in like a think tank with you and like, yo, could we make an ice cream flavor? You're like, yeah. Like, what do you have in mind? Like, well, we have a homie that's a chef. Like, he has like this dope, like black sesame, Rice Krispie caramelized thing. Like, he can make the flavor. And then we went out to Huntington Beach and got into the flavor lab with the Wizard of Oz of ice cream, you know. And we made the ice cream flavor, and then we, you know, made a T-shirt and a hat, you know, just kind of have some product there. And like, it was just to me, it was just exciting because I'm like, we're creating something random and applying the same sort of like, you know, hype, creating hype and buzz. And at the time we had just like finished like doing it was the World of Dance. Yeah, World of Dance. We just finished that. But like, just your downness for it was what was exciting to me. But it was also scary for me because I was like, I hope this is gonna be cool and I hope people show up, you know?
Yeah,
and then like,
you're like, I don't.
Yeah.
I was texting you. I was like, hey man, there's a lot of people here.
And I was like, oh shoot. And then we were we'll just like, you know, a small little in-store performance and whatever. And then like, like
shut down the block, dude.
Like, and he texted me, he's like, yo dude, people are like lined up around the block. And so I remember showing up, I'm like, holy crap, like what is happening? And then there was like police helicopters.
Yeah, we're like, okay,
like thinking that there's some sort of riot happening. And I mean, yeah, dude, again, it's just like, it was so fun to do that. And like, again, it just shows the type of mind that you have of like creating something from scratch, changing the game. And I think that's why I like to call you like that dream maker, passion chaser. You just go for the thing that you most believe in, and obviously you don't shortcut, and you take things very seriously, so you make sure it works, right? Dude, I just gotta like shout that out with, you know, to you right quick.
Can I tell you guys a little weird story about like my past I'd never told? Like,
yes.
Like, he'll one of my buddies here, he'll understand it why. So dance to me has like a weird special place for me, like really, really weird place for me. So when I was a kid, I was super, like I mentioned like before, I was like super awkward. And then my freshman year, that's when I first I was like seeing all these people like battling and dancing all the time. So I was like, dude, that's super cool. I want to learn how to dance. But I'm super awkward. I don't know if I can get there. I'm like super shy. I don't talk very much. And then I remember the first time I remember when like trance was like getting popular when I was a freshman, and then everyone was doing that Nordic track dance.
Nordic track.
And I was like, the Nordic track, and I was like, okay, cool. I was like, I can do that. So I started doing it at like a lot of dances. And then along the way, I was like, okay, sea walking became like super cool.
Yeah, yep, I was in there.
And when I was growing up with my group of friends, that's all we did all day long was like practice and go battle everybody. And that's a lot of times when I learned through a lot of dance was like a lot of my confidence builder.
Yeah.
I wasn't like the greatest, but when I'd go, I feel like a completely different person. Like, it's like I was like you guys, it's like my mascot. You know, I'd go out there full on confidence. I'd battle, and I'd be like, dude, I just took that guy. I got this. Like I come into the circle, I'm like, I got this. That guy's dead. I'm gonna ruin the circle. And for years, like a lot of those years early, my years from like my junior, senior year, like I'm going to everyone's school dance. I'm just gonna destroy everybody right now. I got this. But that was like my confidence level. That like gave me a lot of like that's like my superpower at the time. I was like, dude, if I go on a dance, I got this. Like I'm not scared. You know? Yeah. I think that's why it has like a special place for me. Like I was appreciated and like watching it. I'm like, dude, I love it. Like I'm not doing what they do, but for me, it's like that was like my confidence builder. You know, I was that weird closet. I didn't talk very. I was like that quiet guy in the group, but I think that like put me out there more to like don't be afraid. Just like go in there, just have a good time. This is your way of expressing yourself.
Yeah, dude, that's so legit. I mean, we talk about this all the time, like about why we started dancing, and most guys have the same story. It's like, well, I noticed that girls like guys who can dance. So I decided I would like to try this thing, and it just kept going. It really is a confidence builder.
It's like we did that, and then now we're here. Oh shit! Yeah, I think that's really cool though. That like dance was like just that it was like a confidence builder for you. Yeah, I feel like that's super cool to hear.
Do you feel like you're an entrepreneur? Would you define yourself as an entrepreneur?
That word is like so, I don't know, it's so weird for me, the word entrepreneur. Like I see myself as like I want to be like the creative, like build a strong creative culture, and I just happen to fall into entrepreneurship. You know what I mean? Like like I mentioned, you guys, I don't vision things I'm not looking things as a dollar sign. I'm not looking like, oh, I'm gonna go make like 100 million or be a billionaire from this. So that's not my goal at the end of the day. Like that doesn't drive me. You know, what drives me is like, how can I make an impact? How can I like shift cultures? How can I like change communities like in certain ways? And yeah, through fashion and storytelling and food, I've been able to be creative and use my creative outlet for that. And I just happen to own a lot of businesses through it, but I don't see myself as like the normal business guys. I'm not out there I'm not out there like my goal is to make $1 million. I'm going to go out there and kill everybody to get to get that dollar. But for me, it's just how can I shift this community? If I go into like whether I stay in food or I go into like music, art, sports, politics, how can I go into those industries? How can I shift it? How can I make it cooler? I just want to go to different industries and make it a lot cooler.
Hell yeah.
So when you say start up a new business venture, are you already thinking about how that venture is going to end? Or is there anything that you look at as like, this is going to go on forever and then find out that, okay, I'm bored of it now?
Since I'm out there so much now, I'm like traveling all the time. So I'm getting like, my head's always brewing with ideas. I'm like, I've seen this. I'm a little skewed on when I go out to eat now. When I used to go out to eat, I used to go out to eat for the enjoyment of it. Now when I go out to eat, I'm like, that tablecloth should be like this. This way, this food should be placed like this. If you put that item in this, the sales would go up like this much. Like, this is the if you replace this menu items like this.
Yeah.
So that's how I'm a little skewed on that part of like on those things now.
Yeah.
But approaching different businesses, like how am I going now? Like I look at it as in like how do I do things on a bigger scale now?
Yeah.
Like I look at real estate a lot different than I used to when I was younger. How can I go into this shopping mall and redefine how the shopping experience? Because I told you when we had a conversation last time, people say retail is dead. I'm like,
yeah,
that's not true. I was like, retail is only dead because you're not adapting to what's going on right now.
Yeah.
If you go to places like the ice cream museum or Happy Place, and people are spending money on those things because to give you an experience. You're going out there, you're doing things that are hitting you at all your sound, vision, taste, smell, and I think that's what people are looking for. If you turn stores into stores into more of an experience than trying to sell them product all the time, people will start buying into you. They'll buy into you, like in the long run. Like if maybe you don't buy something at the store, you go online. You're like, I love this brand. I'm just gonna go buy. I'll buy it online instead.
I love that. I mean, I think you hit it on the head with even probably even like why the Alhambra store opening was such a hitter, because that was the Afters experience, but yet with a fully unique spin to it with like Kinjaz, involved, and like you guys branded the whole front of your store with like Kinjaz branding, where it looks like it's the Kinjaz ice cream store, and it's still up there.
Yeah, it's still up, and it always trips me out.
And we love that, Andy. Feel free to keep it up there.
Please don't take that down.
Yeah, I love
I
that.
take girls there all the time. See, I own a Kinjaz.
This is my ice cream store.
It's crazy after we had that grand opening event, because the sales were like okay, but we knew like when this event happens. After that, like sales are like skyrocketing.
Love it, man.
That's what it does really well.
But that's the thing, you're creating an experience and making everything have its own identity. And I'm sure even from shop to shop, you have your Pasadena one that's like at an old gas station or something, right?
Yeah, we picked this vintage gas station.
So sick.
And we could have been on Colorado, because everyone's like, why did you go in Colorado? We're like, well, you can't get a vintage gas station anywhere, so we're gonna if we're gonna get a location, we're gonna make this one like something. We're gonna turn this into a destination, even though it's not on the prime street. Like, we're gonna turn this into a prime street. It's one of our best. It's still one of our best performers now.
So sick. And you guys have ice cream trucks now too, right?
Yeah, we have like ice cream event trucks that we have going out in the streets. We have special carts we do for catering. We do all the music festivals now.
Yeah, you guys are at Coachella.
Yeah,
dude, I got so stoked when I was driving to Coachella and I saw a giant truck that said "After's Ice Cream." I'm like, yo, I know that guy. Yeah, it's so cool, man. And thanks for you guys were at Arena too. You guys definitely have presence there. Hooked everybody up with some delicious ice cream.
Yeah, the dancers got hooked up. I was actually in the backstage where all the dancers were practicing and stuff, and I was like, damn, these people are spoiled right now. Getting ice cream while you're freaking rehearsing and competing.
Dancing with stomach aches.
Yeah.
What are those massage tables? You get ice cream and a massage?
Yeah, I was like, what in the world?
Life is good.
Dang, so how do you know how many businesses you currently have up and running right now?
In the food realm itself, probably like 8 or 9, and then I have like business ventures outside of food too that I work on. Probably like 13, 14 different projects I have.
Yeah,
maybe more. I don't want to say it to scare myself, but
sure.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's definitely a lot. But I have great teams around me that support the vision and allow me to be able to continue to create and have fun and do what I do, and still have the flexibility of traveling and finding some balance. I don't know what kind of balance it is, but trying to go out there and seek it somehow.
Yeah. Well, how do you keep up with it all? Do you have a personal assistant?
I did before. I used to. I kind of took that off the table. I figured out my role. I was like, I don't need to be the CEO of every single brand. Like, I don't need to be at the top of that and run everything. I was like, I don't even like doing that anyways. I don't like coming in there and screaming and being the bad guy. I was like, I want to be on the creative side. I want to create. I want to come up with ideas, campaigns, help lead the way in how to grow the business and how to expand. Like, those things that I like working on. I was like, I'm just going to stick to what I'm good at. And then whoever wants to be the big boss can be the big boss. I'll just be on the sidelines and I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
I've done it before. I've done that role before. I was like, it's cool. It's just not for me.
Do you feel like, and I ask you this in all seriousness, do you feel like you found mastery in anything?
I feel like I'm always still learning. I think there's always people out there with amazing vision and mindsets, and that I'm trying to pick apart and learn from.
Mm-hmm.
I know I've been gifted with something.
I think so.
I think something.
The stats say so.
Somebody up there wants me to do really well, obviously.
Yeah.
That's obviously, and also keeps it challenging for me at the same time. I don't know, being a master, I always feel like there's so much more to learn. That I meet different people, and, like you guys, and I talk about things, and I'm just like, wow, like I never would have thought that way.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I'm always picking things apart and learning. I'm forever a student. I don't know if I'll ever master anything, and I'm okay if I don't ever master anything. But I'm okay with being a student for the rest of my life.
Well, I think you just said what you're a master of. You're a master of being a student, right? I mean, I think
not in school.
No school.
In school to be a student.
Not a classroom.
Totally.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
The world is your classroom.
we kind of throw around this term master the art of student. I mean, we're at the Kinjaz dojo. We hashtag this thing, and we really have a real philosophy behind being a student. It should be a forever thing, right? Even if you're a teacher, you're only going to be a better teacher the more you're learning. So the more you're constantly learning, you're going to able to teach that as well, or apply that to whatever it is that you teach. So the whole idea of mastering the art of student is learning how to constantly be in a mode of, I have more to learn. Doesn't matter how much I have, there's more to gain, and you're going to keep going. Otherwise, then you're going to create your own ceiling, and then you have nowhere to go. So, I mean, I just feel like you just said it, right? You want to keep learning, keep growing, and figuring things out. And yeah, I love it, man. I think just the thing that I see in you is the natural, real organic way of connecting with people. And you seem to me as a curious person. And if something piques your curiosity, you'll go into it and dig into it and be like, let's hear, and then find out, oh shoot, there's some gold here. I might be able to kind of make something out of it.
Or just dirt.
Or it's just dirt. Or it's just dirt, man. That's what's up. Within okay, so having done all sorts of like different types of industry of business and stuff. Was there anything like any like lessons learned, regrets, something that you wish you would have like done better, or if you can go back in time and like kind of coach yourself how to do something better? You have anything?
It's so hard to say like that because if things didn't happen the way they did, I wouldn't be in the place I am now.
Sure.
So it's hard to change you change one second of your life and it could be a completely different life now. I'm definitely content with how things turned out, and I'm completely okay with it because all those hardships and failures were all lessons. And I think those lessons that we go through they teach us how to value like how important like these little successes are, these little pieces of things that because they all add up to something big. All those losses you understand, you're like, okay, well, now you understand the true meaning of like $1. Like people are like $1 means nothing, like I was just spending, but once you start going through like so many different situations and failures and hard experiences, you're like, dude, that $1 was so hard to earn. Like that it's so important to like hang on to that. Like, I'm just gonna throw it away this time, or I'm gonna be a lot smarter with it. So all those hardships that I've taken, like they've taken me to where I'm at today, and to be more aware of how I take myself in the future.
Mm-hmm. How do you evaluate taking risks?
I don't really evaluate taking. How do I explain that? If something gets me really excited and I can't stop thinking about it, I'm gonna go towards it, whether it's super risky or not. Because if I can't stop thinking about it, it's gonna run in my head forever. It's like it goes like curiosity. So I'm gonna keep chasing it, and I'll just figure it out along the way. That's what usually happens. You know what I mean? Like something usually is based off like a lot of the projects I have. Like I work with like different partners, and some I've had great relationships with, and others that it just didn't work out. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, I'm like more feeding off of like energy and vibes, and like, hey, I have to be able to like have a good feeling about this person, follow my gut feeling, and be able to like call this guy and just like joke around before anything else. Before we get into bed with each other and figure out what we want to do next. Yeah, it's tricky. I'm always jumping in first and figuring out along the way. Yeah. So I'm not for myself. I'm like, I don't want to live my life wondering about things. I'd rather just do it now. And if I fail, well, I'll figure something else. I'll jump on to the next.
Do you have any failures?
You can call them failures, call them lessons. I've had projects that failed. I'm like along the way, like the clothing thing was always like super tough. It wasn't easy. Like some seasons we'd make like buttloads of money, and other seasons we'd miss shipment dates, and accounts would be like calling us, like Zoomies would be like, "Where's our order? You're 180 days late," and we're like, "All our bills right now. We need to pay this. If we don't pay this, we're completely screwed." I'd had food projects that didn't work out. Like at a store called Noodle, and there was so much like tension going into that whole thing, and we had partners that were stealing from us. We had a car that ran into the store, and I was like, "This is bad. This is bad juju. We all need to get out of this now. We all need to sell. Let's get the heck out of this." I was like, "Oh, weird time." Like, what else? Yeah, I tried to launch an I'm King vodka project back in like back in my day.
You're telling me about this vodka that you're about to do.
I was like, dude, I don't even like alcohol that much, and we're like, we're like sitting there testing like different vodkas. I was like, I don't even drink vodka. What's the difference? Every day we're drinking it. I was like sitting there. I was like, dude, this is the worst. Like, and I remember this guy was like, yeah, we know exactly what we're doing. We're gonna sell to all these distributors, and the partner we ended up with was like, it was all bad. And I was like, I'm not going to learn the alcohol industry because I'm not passionate about it. I don't even like to drink that much, so I don't think this is a good idea. So those things that we spend a lot of money and end up not doing it. There's tons of stuff. There's tons of little failures like in between that.
But I mean, I love how you put it. You said it depends on how you look at it. A failure is not a failure; it's a lesson learned, right?
It's a lesson learned. It's experience. It's experience. Like the more things, if you meet with people with like so much experience, you like look at all the stories he has to tell. Like that's why he's at where he's at, because he's seen everything. He knows exactly how to bob and weave, and it's like a boxer over time.
Totally.
He's not as fast, but he's like a lot smarter of how he,
Yeah. I think like that just reminds me. I mean, Charlie and I were talking about this. You were talking about that obstacles or opportunities, right?
Yes, they are.
And I think a failure that could be a one-time event, but then there are events that happen after that one-time event, and that's your process of either bouncing back or like letting yourself be defeated by that failure, right? So I think somebody like yourself who's tried a ton of things, and not every single thing's gonna work, not every single thing's gonna hit, but you're the common denominator in all those things. Like, you're involving yourself in every one of those things. So if something works, great, we're gonna keep going with it. If it doesn't work, okay, that wasn't it, but I'm still me. I'm gonna bounce back out of this one and I'm gonna go towards the next thing, right? So I think that's something I completely see in you, and I've seen that like through your whole, I mean, just the growth of, you know, us being friends and just seeing your moves, man. I feel like that's just how you operate, you know? That's how you look at quote unquote failure, man. And that's dope. What are your thoughts about going into business with friends?
Depends what kind of friends. It all depends. Some friends, it just depends. Honestly, everyone's different. Everyone has a different personality. Some you'll gel with and you'll fill each other's gaps. Some people you're too alike and you're always doing the same thing where you're not filling the gaps and the problems happen. Or you have people, you deal with egos and you deal with that's what they don't train you in. They don't teach you that business in the books. They don't teach you about partnerships. They don't teach you about the battles you go through with the people, your partners that you work with. They don't teach you about like personality issues of your staff and management. And you're like, oh, crap, I'm dealing with 1,000 different people with like, crazy personalities, and no one's gonna be able to think like you or like you. You know, if I can get someone like 85% me, then I'll take it.
Yeah.
Everybody's different. You just if you really, I think if you're transparent about it in the beginning, I think business, just like relationships, compromise, being transparent, putting everything on the table, everyone making sure they're doing their role, and I think if you do a lot of those things, you don't really have too much problems. But if any of those are out of whack, then it's gonna be a battle.
Yeah. Did you go to business school at all?
Yeah.
So you just kind of learned all this on the fly? School of hard knocks.
School of hard knocks, yeah. I learned it from asking questions. Like, other people that have businesses and experienced other people that have great businesses or people that have failures through partnerships. And I've always asked questions like, how do you deal with it? And same they'll ask with me, like, how did you deal with this? And what would you do? And I think I've had numerous of business partners over time to kind of be able to figure out like what kind of people I want to work with and align myself with.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier about trying to make sure you find balance, right? From your work life to your personal life. What do you do for your balance?
My wife puts me in check.
Of course. She's there for.
We try to spend a lot of our time traveling right now. I think that was a common thing that we both enjoy doing, and we use that as our outlet to get away from things. But still, when I'm out there, I'm looking at things like, well, I'm going to turn this into the.
Just can't shut that part off.
Can't shut that part off. But no, that's my escape. People don't know about it. I watch tons of TV when I'm like, that's like my background noise. If I'm doing work on the computer, like Netflix, so some documentaries on, so I'm just like learning something and doing my work at the same time.
Yeah.
When I'm on an airplane, I'm usually always reading. Just different things. I enjoy. Every day is like an adventure to me. I rarely eat the same restaurant twice. I'm always like hunting out for a different restaurant.
Yeah.
I did my list of like check-in stuff. I was like, dude, I think I've eaten well over 10,000 restaurants in my life.
Whoa.
For me, it's like an adventure. Every day is like a new adventure. I was like, I'd rather eat at a new crappy place than a place I've enjoyed before, just so I can get like a new experience and see what's out there and try different places. So every day I can go and say, hey, well, I've done this, I've experienced this, I've been able to like do as much as I can this lifetime.
Yeah. Do you run like a food blog?
I used to.
What was that one?
It was called Try Your Diet. We turned it into a business, and in May I was making a lot of money.
Why wouldn't it?
Yeah, we started
touched it.
We started that at right before we launched Afters, just because our friends were food beasts. We were like doing stuff, and they were like, getting free food all the time. We're like, I want to get free food, right? And next thing you know, we kept getting invited everywhere. Yeah. And I was like, dude, I don't want to eat. I can't eat. I can't eat anymore. But what we noticed when we were doing that was like, when whenever we post on our accounts, and the food account was like their sales started increasing. And I was like, we need to get paid for this. Yeah. Their sales are increasing, so we're like, okay, we'll turn it into like a marketing agency.
Sick.
Is it still up and running?
They're still, those other guys are the other guys are still up and running. I stepped back to pursue different things.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's still doing well, and they're still killing it.
How do you approach so when you have like a new idea, like whether it's a food blog or just a new concept of a business or like a collaboration, like is there a methodical way that you approach it, or is it based off of just gut feeling, instinct?
No, there's definitely everything is pretty strategic when I'm looking at it. Like if I'm starting like a record label, I'm going to go pair myself with people with experience in the industry to teach me about little things. And that you're looking for like certain things. So I'm looking for like a product placement guy. I'm going to pair up with this guy that knows everybody. I'm going to strategically plan who to put in what place. Like who's going to be the best operator of this the restaurant. Like who's going to be the best day-to-day guy. Because I'm not going to be in the kitchen. If you put me in the kitchen, that's just going to burn down. So everything's pretty strategic because we're always looking. We're watching. We're hanging out with certain people. We're like, hey, I think he'll fit that role. We go talk to him and see if he's interested. Or people will be seeking out for me, like, oh, I want to do partnership in this, and I'm like, we need to hang out first, and let's see how this vibes out, and if it's cool, then we'll move forward.
Yeah. How old are you now?
33.
33. Okay. Any regrets?
Regrets? I don't like using that. No.
We don't like negative words here.
No, I don't like. I can't say that because I'm in such a. Things happen for a reason. 4.5 years ago, if you asked me, do you think you were going to be in the food industry or working, or let alone like 10, 13 different projects, I would have laughed and said, hell no, I'm only doing clothing. That's all I knew at the time. I thought if I wasn't going to do clothing, I'm screwed, Once Afters happened, I was like, if things were to ever go south, I would always be able to figure my way out. Mm-hmm. One way or another. I would always figure it out. I'm driven. I'll grind my way out of it. I will do things the right way. I will always do things that have value to me. I would do things being transparent. I would do things by working my butt off. What else would I apply? I would apply just being as genuine as I can and giving people opportunities that don't have it yet and opening doors for them. I think if I apply those things, I'll always be okay.
Yeah, it's great.
Damn.
How do you define success?
Success is different for everyone. I think success comes from what your values are to you and what's important to you. And once you figure out what your set of values are and not try to compare what someone else's values are, then you'll be able to live a lot happier. Because if you try to compare to someone else's life, you're never going to be able to live someone else's life because everyone's experienced different things growing up, and the mindset and where you're sitting right now. Your point of view sitting here is my point of view sitting towards you.
Sure.
That's my thinking.
It's great. Are you like a planner? Are you like pretty like schedule oriented? Do you like have a certain routine every day from morning to night?
I definitely I keep everything like I treat my life like a point system, like a game. It's like a game for me. Every day, wake up, hit the gym. That's your point. You knocked out a point right there. Mm-hmm. Get your chores done. That's another point right there. Finish reading your book. That's another point right there. Knock out. You have 10 meetings. You need to knock out. You need to make sure you knock out 10 meetings before this time. Then your points are out. It's like a point system for me. I do have a schedule. The list is always there.
Do you get to cash in those points for some sort of reward? Do you get to cash in those points for like rewards?
I cashed in all those restaurants, all this weight gain that's giving me. I don't want those points anymore. I don't want any more rewards. I'll hang on to the points.
Good, man.
Hell yeah.
Like every day, I go, if I travel, my point system is pretty ridiculous. When I talk about my point system, I travel, I'm like, today I need to eat at like 10 places on my list, right?
Oh,
so I go to these 10 places. He went with me recently. We went to I took him to Texas, and I was like, "Hey, we eat here."
Oh man,
he's a chef over there. He's a chef, right? So he's always trying to order the whole menu. I was like, "No, we're only going to order. We're only ordering the highlights, right? Hey, don't eat all of it because we got to go to another place after this." He didn't learn his lesson. He ate the whole thing, and I was like, "Told you." I went to the second, third, fourth, fifth. He's like, and I was like, "Dude, just take a bite. Or on to the next one."
It's like sampling, right?
It's like a day of sampling.
Yeah.
So that's like the point system. Like, if we go travel, I'm like, if I have this place on my list, I need to knock it out because I'm like, I'm never going back to Idaho again. I'm eating all these places in Idaho right now. Yeah.
Dang, I'm trying to travel with you, bro.
Yeah, dude.
Point system.
Yeah. I'm trying to order a dish, just take one bite and say, thank you. I'm out.
On to the next.
What do you guys do? Don't worry about it, man. We're dream chasers, baby.
That's good. What's next? What's on the radar?
I'm always looking to I'm always seeing what industry I want to conquer next. Like you said, I'm curious. I'm always watching different industries. Like, hey, how can I go shape this? Whether it's like the tech industry or like product-based things or real estate environments that I'm working on right now. I'm like, my hands are like all like just watching. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna try a little here. If it makes sense, I'm gonna go towards more of that. I'm gonna push things here. If it works well, I'm gonna go towards that. I've done a lot of consulting. I've done a lot of. I'm doing real estate development now. I'm doing product development. Tons of different things. Anything that like piques my interest and gets me excited. If it gets me excited, I'm just gonna go towards it.
Yeah.
And if it does well, cool. If it doesn't, then I'm gonna bring the pieces that did really well in that and just apply them to something else to make sure that it works the next time around.
Sick.
That's dope, man. Yeah, I love how, like, again, you say your curiosity will get you interested, and if it's fun and exciting, you'll go for it, but you don't go after it without a plan. You don't go after it without your team and knowing, like, what you're good at. So it's like, okay, I like it, but here's how I know it's going to work if I apply these principles or apply this system that I have. So it's dope how you approach that, man. It's really dope. I think it's lightning round time. Lightning round. We're gonna fire off some questions, bro.
All right.
Off the top of your head, you just gotta go. Man, you can't even think.
You mentioned TV shows earlier. What's your favorite TV show?
Favorite TV show? What am I watching right now? I thought Game of Thrones was really good. I didn't watch it until like recently, like all of it.
Doesn't matter. As long as you watched it, you're good.
Yeah, we got sucked in. I don't know. I like Lost season 1's like one of my favorite shows.
Lost season 1 is amazing.
When I watched that, I was like, I'm not going to the office tomorrow. I'm just gonna watch this. Can't stop.
Hell yeah.
I don't know. I like a lot of movies. I remember a lot of movies. I like Hook.
Oh, Hook is a classic.
Sandlot, Coming to America.
Good. That's good.
A lot of different things. Yeah.
Okay. Dream collab.
Dream collab? I'm gonna work with Disney one way or another.
Oh, I believe that's for sure gonna happen.
That.
I'm putting that out there.
I could see that.
I can jealous for sure.
Do it.
Freaking love that.
Favorite anime?
For anime? Naruto or Dragon Ball.
Hey.
Oh, buddy.
You
screaming over here. Favorite After's ice cream flavor?
Milk and cereal for sure.
Oh.
Worst After's ice cream flavor?
We tried to make this avocado flavor before. I remember the guys were like, "Damn, dude, that tastes like guacamole." But we also tried this blue cheese one. That was bad too.
Blue cheese ice cream?
That didn't come out very well.
Oh, that's interesting.
Favorite travel destination?
Surprisingly, the place I enjoyed recently, I went in January, was New Zealand. I didn't expect much from New Zealand because I went to Australia. I was like, it's probably the same thing, right? And I came there, I was like, this place is awesome.
Favorite book?
Start With Why by Simon Sinek. I was in a weird funk at one point in my clothing time, and then I read that book, and it taught me why I did the clothing thing in the first place and why I did business in the first place. And I think that book is means a lot to me.
Sick. Worst idea you've ever pursued?
Worst idea? Oh man, I've done a lot of those. That noodle concept was pretty bad. Not the new one. The new one with Chef Michael, the red envelope, was really good. But the first one we did, the noodle when I did.
What was that? Was that like pho or what?
It was supposed to be like we were supposed to bring like pho, and then we were supposed to do ramen, bring ramen to like Bolsa, and you can't. It was all wrong. Like,
by the way, I'm from Westminster too, so I feel like the culture that you're bringing to Westminster. Thank you very much. We don't have a lot of stuff out there. All we have is an over amount of Vietnamese people and a lot of nail salons. But please continue.
Favorite cuisine of all time?
Favorite cuisine? If it was Vietnamese or Japanese, I can eat those for like the rest of my life.
Nice.
Hey.
And tacos.
Can't go wrong with tacos. If you had to pursue a career in the entertainment, art, or sports, what would it be?
Entertainment, art, or sports?
Yeah.
I'd be like the talent. I think I'd be like a talent scout or something like that. Like in sports, I'd be like a talent scout, and in music, I'd be like obviously Scooter Braun's not a bad job. I take that hit.
Nice.
I take his job of like helping shaping artists and finding pieces to build to the brand and kind of help direct them towards like creative directing.
Sick. So kind of what you're doing already, but just
in like that industry.
I got a 2-part. Favorite actor and favorite artist. Favorite actor's work. Favorite actor, and then.
Oh man, they threw me for a hard one. Somebody throw me some ideas.
Like in the past, we've had like Denzel or Brad Pitt or
Jim Carrey.
Will Smith's a popular one.
Will Smith is a popular one.
Tobey Maguire. Never been said.
Will Smith's a popular one, but more on the Fresh Prince side than
I'd say Fresh Prince Will Smith. That's a good Will Smith.
That is good.
I would pick that one.
Okay, yeah, Will Smith's good.
Favorite Nickelodeon show?
Probably Rugrats or the original Doug.
Oh, nice.
Not when ABC took over Doug.
I need more allowance. Okay, sorry. That's good. I'm out of question.
I think we're lightning round out.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
That was really good, actually.
Cool. So we have this thing called Golden Rule. Golden Rule, pretty much self-explanatory. Everybody kind of knows what that is, but it's your life mantra. It's something that either someone else has said that you're like, oh, I like that, I'm going to apply that to my life, or something that you've developed for yourself. If you had a golden rule, what would that be?
My golden rule is make sure you tell the greatest story never told. When I'm like 100 years old and I have buttloads of grandchildren, I want to be able to tell them the greatest story I ever lived, and that I never sat there and wondered. Like I told you, I never wondered about everything. I actually went out and pursued it, and whether it did well or not, like I was able to live this great life, and whether I'm here and gone tomorrow, that I'm doing as much as I can in the amount of time I have out here right now. And I think if I'm not doing anything, I'm not really living. So I'm going to go out there and do the most.
Wow.
It's golden. That is golden.
That is the golden rule.
Very good, man. Where can people follow you on your journey, man? Your life journey of all over the world to all the ventures. Where can people find you? Social media, websites? Whatever.
Yeah, you can find me on social media. My IG and everything. That's at Andy the Nguyen or Andy the Win, whatever.
How do you spell it, just for
ANDYTHE, last name spelled NGUYEN.
And don't worry, I'll list that in the show notes.
Of course. Is that it? Just Instagram?
No, that you want to email, you can find my email through the Instagram.
Got it.
I'll put that in the show notes too.
Slide in the DM and I'll answer any question you have.
That's what's up, man. Yo, Andy, man, I just got to say, dude, I'm super inspired by you. I feel like every time we link up to like grab lunch to, catch up on life and just seeing like, I'm obviously following you on all your stuff and just seeing the way that you operate more than like just the businesses and the things that you're doing. It's your approach. And I think every time I talk to you, no matter what's going on and no matter what's on your plate, you have a very consistent level head, and you care about the people first. And I can see that, like from the people that you decide to work with to the ideas that you decide to pursue, you care about the people that are involved first, because it starts with those people. If I don't want to be around people that I'm going to do it, doesn't matter how good the idea is. Like, I just don't want to do it, right? So I'm super inspired by that, man. And, just seeing your journey, dude, like, it's really dope to see. And I'm so glad that you hopped on here You're not a dancer, obviously. That's not your trade. That's not your profession.
Hey, he is.
I mean, at heart, he might wreck some fools. He might wreck some fools in the Nordic track circle. And, see him in the circle.
People still see walk.
Oh yeah. See,
I'm probably not gonna do that.
But yeah, like just the way that you are just a creative thinker outside the box, man. We vibe with that. And yeah, for Kinjaz, man, you're a huge inspiration to us. And for you to come on a podcast like this to offer knowledge that is going to be probably a little bit different for our demographic, but like we have young people to people our age that are trying to hustle, trying to figure things out. So I feel like your perspective on life and business and people and relationships, all of that, man, is so valuable. So, dude, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you guys for having me here. I'm super honored. I'm huge. Besides, watching from distance, I'm a huge fan of you guys, and I love what you guys do and how you guys work with the community and building it and try to shift it yourselves. I definitely admire that. And, hope we can do more crazy collabs together.
Yeah. You know it, my friend. Yes. You know it. Well, cool. Dude, thanks so much for stopping by.
Anytime.
And yeah, I think we're good, right?
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening. And if you don't forget, please leave a comment on iTunes. Give us a rating, good or bad. We like to learn. Also check out Kinjaz Podcast with a K.com. Follow us on social media, Kinjaz Podcast with a K. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You know it.
That's it. I think we plugged it all up.
Dang, Fal. You did a great job.
Oh, thank you.
You killed that one, dude. All right, well.
Thanks for listening, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.
Shake.
Kinjaz.